Hi everyone, it's Danielle with Northlawn Flower Farm. Today I wanted to share with you how to propagate snapdragons by taking cuttings. And when you grow snapdragons, a lot of times you just naturally pinch them because you want them to branch from the base. But rather than just discarding these pinched sections that come from the top of your plant, you can easily root them in either soil or water and then increase your snapdragon stock by double. So let me show you how that's done today. So almost exactly a month ago, I seeded this tray of bridal pink snapdragons with you, and now they have about 5 sets of true leaves. They're nice and strong, and this is a great time to go ahead and pinch them and use their cuttings for propagation. So you only need a few things for this project. You just need some cells that are filled with pre-moistened potting soil. If you are soil blocking, you could do it in soil blocks as well. You want to have your snapdragons. You want either a pair of scissors or snips that are cleaned and sterilized, because anytime you're taking a cutting of any plant, good plant hygiene is of the utmost importance. Then you want to use either a pencil or a pen or even a chopstick, something that will create a hole. And I'm going to go ahead and use rooting hormone. I'm using the powder version. You can pick up one of these bottles for like $5 and it will easily last you over a decade. It also comes as a gel. I just use the powder. That's just what I've always used and it works great. So the first thing we want to do is make a hole for our cuttings to go into. And that's where our pencil comes in handy. So I'll just make holes into these cells here, because I think you'll be able to see these cells as we film. And this is just so when you dip the cutting into the rooting hormone and then you push it into the cell, you're not pushing off the rooting hormone and you're also not damaging the stem at all. So you're creating a nice deep hole for them to go right into. So we'll just do 8 here to start. Now we'll take the cutting, which is essentially the pinch. So we're accomplishing 2 things by doing this today. We're pinching the snapdragon, giving us more usable stems, and then we're going to use that cutting for propagating purposes. So what I'm going to do is count up 2 leaf sets, and I'm going to take the cutting right above that. I always like to hold my cuttings by the leaf if possible, rather than the stem. Next, what I'm going to do is remove, and I'll get a close-up of all this for you guys, remove these lower leaves. It's just less for the cutting to hydrate, and they're unnecessary. And now I really only have 4 leaves at the top of this cutting. I'm going to dip it into the rooting hormone. I'm going to place the cutting into the hole. I'm going to give it a nice pinch. And that's literally all there is to it. I've created a brand new snapdragon plant just by following those really simple steps. And I'll just keep this potting soil nice and warm and moist and under my lighting system until these cuttings take root, which with snapdragons happens pretty quickly. It's usually about, I would say, 7 days, but I'm hands off with them, leave them alone. They root with almost no problem at all. So now let me get you a few close-ups from different angles so you can really see where I'm taking these cuttings from and how I'm sticking them in the new medium. So I'm just counting up 2 sets of leaves. So 1, 2, make the cutting right here. There's your cutting. Next, remove these leaves right here because we don't need them. Get your rooting hormone. Stick the stem in there. And then stick it right in the hole that you've already prepared for your plant. Push the soil towards the stem. And you're good to go. Now the reason I really love doing this, especially with snapdragons, is because specialty snapdragon seeds can be quite expensive, and it also takes a long time for a snapdragon to reach maturity. It's usually 100 to 120 days depending on the variety. So not only am I increasing my stock of snapdragon and also saving myself money, but I'm also creating my next succession of snapdragons with this tray of cuttings. So rather than having to seed a tray for my next succession because it's been about 4 weeks, this is my next succession. And if you wanted to take the cuttings and put them in water, you would do the exact same thing. except you would kind of stop at this point. You wouldn't bother with the rooting hormone. You would just stick them in water. They do sell kind of like these hydroponic prick trays that are built for propagating things with water. It's just water underneath, and you stick the cuttings in and then they root in the water. I like doing it directly in the cell just because I feel like it saves me a step. But definitely do whatever you like and whatever works best for you. Now you could do this with other type of flowers as well. Anything that is a branching flower that basically puts up this kind of a central stem and then you pinch it down, this process will work with. So, something like a Cosmo. The thing with snapdragons, different than a Cosmo, is Cosmos can be really readily sown out into the ground when the soil is warm, and they just grow really quickly when you start them inside, and the seed is not that expensive. On the contrary, snapdragon seed, that's especially snapdragon, is more expensive. It needs to be started inside and it takes a long time to get to maturity. So for all these reasons, that's why I choose to always propagate my snapdragon pinches or cuttings. And I usually don't bother with things like Cosmos, but it definitely would work. And give it a try if that's something you're interested in. So guys, that's really all there is to it. I'll just continue on in this manner until my tray is full, and then once all my original snaps are pinched and all my cuttings are full, I'll take both these trays back over to my lighting system and just have them over there until it's time to start hardening them off outside and get them into the garden. Let me know if you have any questions. If you like this video, would you give it a like? It not only helps me, but it also helps me to know that you like these kind of propagation videos. It also helps me to just know what kind of content to produce in the future for you. So guys, I hope this was helpful and definitely saved you some money at the end of the day. That's kind of always my goal here when it comes to growing and selling cut flowers. And I'll see you next time. Bye. And friends, the light is a little bit weird because it's coming from the wrong direction. But here are the pinch snaps, and here are the cuttings, and I also pinched and did cuttings from these Legend Light Pink snaps as well. Okay, bye for real now.